Courtroom dramas are back, baby! An Anatomy of a Fall is one of the best in this genre. Not only is it one of the best courtroom dramas you can find, but it's also one of the best films of 2023. Anatomy of a Fall begins in the French Alps, where Sandra lives with her husband Samuel and their son Daniel. Sandra is having a flirtatious interview with a fellow colleague, and all seems well until Samuel, who is 2 floors above them, starts blasting 50 Cent's PIMP on repeat, causing Sandra to cut her interview short. Daniel takes the dog for a walk, and when he returns, he finds Samuel's dead body outside of their home. Thus begins the mystery that sparks off the film. Did Samuel fall out of the window, or did Sandra murder her husband? This film is genius in that what begins as a mystery quickly evolves into a study on relationships. Over the course of the runtime, you quickly realize that director Justine Triet is less interested in what happened and more interested in how it happened, and why. This is a film about our personal relationships. How well do we know our loved ones? How much are we in tune to their happiness? And what does our relationships look like to other people when our relationship is put under a microscope? This film explores all of these themes because when Sandra is accused of murdering her husband, their rocky relationship gets dissected by a court of law. What can seem like innocent moments in our lives with our loved ones can look less innocent to others. Sandra's faulty relationship to Samuel is picked apart, exposed, and used as evidence for her guilt. It is a fascinating and often frustrating look at the French legal system, which is a lot different than our legal system here in America. I found it interesting that Sandra was able to speak at any moment during the trial, and the prosecutor and the defense attorney can speak to her directly at any time. Whereas here in America, the accused kind of just has to sit there silently next to their lawyer. And the film is absolutely enthralling because we, the audience, are basically treated as members of the jury because we also don't know whether Sandra is innocent or guilty. We have to digest every piece of evidence that the lawyers bring to light, and we have to come up with our own verdict. The film suggests that every relationship in one way or another is something of a mystery, and I find that totally compelling. Sandra, played by actress Sandra Holler, is phenomenal. It's a reserved, quiet role. She almost comes off as cold. And what I love about her performance is that it's not melodramatic. It's a very calm, calculated performance, and it helps for Sandra's layered character. Not only are we responsible for acting as a jury member for this film, we're also allowed to judge. Over the course of the film, we learn more about Sandra's character and her relationship to Samuel. She's been unfaithful. She's lied to the court. She brings up evidence that only she was privy to. And all of these moments, we are either struggling to believe her, or we are taking everything she says and does as harmless. So let's talk about the ending. Did Sandra kill Samuel? Unfortunately, the film never gives us a clear answer, which I actually kind of love. But I have my own opinion. But before I dig into what I think happened, I want to mention a couple things. The first is that I'm about to go into spoiler territory here, so if you haven't seen the film yet, I implore you to bookmark this video and revisit me after you've seen it. The second thing I want to say is that if you like my reviews and the sound of my voice, please hit that like button and subscribe. It would mean the world to me. Okay, so did Sandra do it? My takeaway is no, she did not kill Samuel. And there are two reasons why I believe she didn't do it. The first is the audio clip that is played during the trial that proves that Sandra and Samuel had a massive fight the day before he died. The prosecution uses this fight as a dress rehearsal for murder the following day. That their relationship was a violent one and that Sandra probably did it because they had a physical altercation the day before. But I actually didn't read it that way. I interpreted their fight as a man who is clearly unhappy and unsatisfied in his life, lashing out at his wife because he doesn't know what to do with all of his frustrations. It read to me as a clearly depressed and unhappy Samuel attacking his wife because he's not fulfilled in his life. The second reason is Daniel's testimony towards the end of the film, with Daniel talking about the pill their dog Snoopy ate, as well as the haunting conversation he has with Samuel in the car, where Samuel basically admits that he's going to kill himself. With the argument and Daniel's testimony, I believe that Samuel killed himself. I think that morning he overheard his wife flirting with another woman, and that was his last straw. He leapt out of the window, killing himself. But that is just my interpretation. What do you think? Do you think she's guilty? Please let me know in the comments. I would really love to know. In the end, Anatomy of a Fall is an enthralling courtroom drama that not only has a mystery, but has an emotional dissection of relationships at the film's center. It is one of my favorite movies of the year, and I highly recommend everyone check it out. It's a bit on the long side, but I think what you get in 2.5 hours is totally worth it. That's it, folks. Until the next time, I say cheers.